It's lights out and away we go.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you're listening, and welcome back to the GT UK F1 podcast. I am joined by David.
Hey everyone, how's it going?
This was the one I wasn't looking forward to, might I add.
You not like the Monaco Grand Prix, the duel in the crown, the pièce de résistance?
Do you want my honest answer? No, I don't, to be honest. I don't know.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I've said it for years now that to me it should be a non-championship event. It should be like an exhibition weekend.
Yeah.
It should be like F1's Goodwood,
in
my book, because the cars are not suitable. We know that because of the amount of changes the FIA frantically scrapped around to make with the systems.
For Monaco.
I mean, we had no active aero, did we?
No.
None at all, which
is
that
a little bit weird because they used to have DRS on the... Was it start finish straight?
Yeah, but I think because the active aero is more, isn't it? 'Cause it's the front and the rear wing. I wonder if that would have just made the cars too unstable, or for whatever reason, they decided the best course of option was to not run with it, which is great when you consider that's been the whole big thing of this iteration of cars.
Yeah.
The one thing is, it was probably the only race where you will not hear any driver complain about battery issues.
No.
Well, not about batteries running out anyway. I think there was issues down the race.
There was issues.
We will get to at the time.
But, yeah, definitely
I can't believe we're going to spend a bit of time tonight talking about F1 cars going too fast.
Yeah. Or, if you're a certain driver, not at all.
But before we do that, obviously, usual deal, practicing, neither of us saw any of it. So I'm afraid we can't talk about that.
Well, so, we can skim the thing. We can skim the...
Yeah, but as we're going to have a lot to talk about in the race, and maybe we'll kind of like to...
And that's what I mean.
Push us into qualifying.
Well...
Now, I think for the first time in a while, we actually had all 22 cars in qualifying.
Yeah. Pretty much. But it's kind of usual suspects. Apart from one. No, it is kind of the usual suspects, really.
I mean, the bottom six knocked out were 2 Aston Martins, 2 Cadillacs, and 2 Hasses.
Yeah.
Now, he's also found this point that Gabriel Bortoleto made it through into Q2, but crashed his car at the end of Q1.
Which didn't help it. Didn't help anybody that was trying to get through to Q2.
No, because he was a brief red flag, which Monaco, that's the thing about Monaco. Anything big is generally going to be at least a safety car. There's very little there that you can clear just under wave yellows, because there's no escape roads. There's very little space around the track. So you're basically guaranteed either stoppages or, and we know in qualifying especially, they are far more... Well, I don't even know if there is proviso for safety car in qualifying. I assume they would just red flag it.
They'd just red flag. Because...
Yeah, just safety car wouldn't work. The system just wouldn't line up to it.
No.
So obviously, say into Q2, obviously Bortoleto qualified 16th because he couldn't take part in Q2. Which did they not go through a rule at one point that if you caused a red flag, you lost your lap time?
I believe so, but it never...
Because to me, that would be a good rule to come back, because at that point, Bortoleto would be knocked down, and you would at least let Ocon, in this case, into Q2. I mean, you're almost going back to... Was Schumacher at Monaco? Wasn't it one year that parked the car on the final corner?
Yeah.
To basically guarantee himself pole position.
Very much.
You know, I mean... I'm not saying drivers would think like that, but it's an option that's obviously there.
I was kind of expecting Leclerc to do his trick.
He did just 24 hours too late.
Well, yeah, he did. But he did also, it's foreshadowing to Q3, yeah.
I think he did tag a wall, didn't he?
He did.
So anyway, yeah, so Q2 said Bortoletto couldn't compete, but once again, it's the usual suspects, pretty much. Lindblad 15th is maybe a little bit of a surprise, given he had good form at Canada with bad luck. Let's be fair.
Yeah.
He qualified great, looked like everything's going to go well, and the car let him down at the worst possible moment.
Well, he was weren't they, the Racing Bulls, having issues anyways?
I can't recall.
Because
in general, the Red Bull power units didn't have a great weekend.
Well, Lawson wasn't sure if he was going to start quali.
Obviously did and made it through to the top 10, just.
And obviously the Williams, I expected the Williams to be a little bit stronger, but the Williams, like we said, the Williams used to be a little bit of a rocket ship, but
I think this year, they've been fighting the weight issues, haven't they? I think that's been a big part of it. Now, unfortunately, Carlos Sainz had a bit of a record here. He's never not scored points in Monaco.
No.
In every appearance in his career up until this weekend, he had never failed to score points.
The Ferraris, like I said, Ferraris were looking strong.
The Ferraris were looking damn near unbeatable until the very end of qualifying. But when Max did a Max, and then Antonelli's just riding, I don't know if confidence is making a difference, but he's riding such a wave of positivity right now.
Well, I'm not. I may have jumped a little bit there, but Hadjar seems to be quite confident.
He seems to have almost broken the duck of the Red Bull second seat curse.
Because, he wasn't far behind Max, but
he's right there with the Ferraris.
But he's with him. He's with the others, you know what I mean?
Beating both McLarens.
And one more.
McLaren celebrating their 1000th Grand Prix this weekend. I'm pretty sure it's not one they'll look back on fondly.
No, probably not.
7th and 8th in qualifying. Obviously, Gasly 9th. Alpine. I had hope for the Alpine this year, and it's just not quite delivering. It's got moments. Like I say, the Merc engine's definitely a step up from the Renault one they had.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But, the news is next year they're going to be Gucci racing, basically.
Christ's sake. Yeah.
You're not a fan?
Well, Gucci's going to be the main sponsor, isn't it? And it's like...
Well, are they taking over what Louis Vuitton are doing?
I believe so.
God, some of them trophies have been ugly this year.
No, Gucci's going to be the main sponsor for Alpine.
Yeah, that's what I mean, but I wondered if they were taking over, because there's all that thing in there now with the trophy, how, victory travels in Louis Vuitton.
Yeah.
And like I say, some of them trophies have been ghastly. Not Pierre, actual ghastly.
I was going to say, they're just... You couldn't even write that.
I wish I had. I wish I'd planned it better. That just came to me.
They've not been the greatest of lookers, have they? To be
There's
honest.
Been some that have been all right. I'm trying to think back, but there's been some that you've looked at and think, well, that wouldn't get pride of place in the house. I can guarantee you that. That'll be the one you'll give to the team. Here, stick that one up in the headquarters. That's fine.
Q3 was, like we say, Q3 just was Q3, apart from Charles was then on it.
Yeah, I thought of that. I thought the Ferraris had it sewn up. And then, obviously, Lewis came in first and outshone. Ever since that podium at Canada, I think he's riding a bit of a confidence wave again.
What, just mean like the Kardashians?
I was going to try and avoid that particular piece because I don't want to get involved in that, but...
I got something for the good, but I've got something for the...
You know? Let's just say for all the penalties handed out, we can probably give Lewis one for ignoring a lot of red flags.
You
like that?
Yeah. But, yeah, I thought, oh, Leclerc's got it in the bag. Next minute, Max came along. It's like, oh. I was like, because I was watching, I was like, has Aunt Nelly put his lap in yet? I'm thinking, oh, is Max going to get pole in Monaco? Is this the return to form a little bit? And then Aunt Nelly just came and put in that absolute stellar lap.
You see there that they are both as near as 2/10 quicker than everybody else.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there was another level that, I mean, Max is Max.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
You can always guarantee he can, as long as the car's not a total dog, he'll pull something out of the bag. But I say, Antonelli's riding such a wave right now. I actually think it's shaken Russell a little bit. I think that's why we're seeing Russell, because I think he sat there thinking, right, Lewis is leaving. This is my team now. This is going to be my.
Yeah.
This year, the car certainly at the beginning looked like it had a serious fighting chance. And then his young 17-year-old teammates come round the outside of him.
Fucking walloped
and won 4 on the bounce leading up to this qualifying.
Yeah.
You know, a record he shared with only, was it 3 other people?
Hamilton,
well, no, sorry, to win his first 4 races on. It was to win his first 4 races consecutively.
Yeah.
There's only about 3 have ever actually done that. Like I said, I still stand by that his greatest achievement should be making Italian teenagers not wear red t-shirts, but
pretty much.
You know, that in itself needs studying.
Now, obviously, the way that they give the starting grid, Bortoletto ended up having to pit lane it, didn't he?
I think he did, yeah. I think they took the chance to take the car out and change a few components, didn't they?
Yeah, they pit lane the start. Now
at Monaco, that often can actually be not the worst idea, because if it does all kick off in turn 1, don't forget the Monaco pit exit actually takes you past turn 1.
Yeah.
So if there is a bit of a kerfuffle, you can be dancing around it and out the way. So it's not the worst idea in the world if you're somewhere near the back.
No, unless you're Max Verstappen.
Should we not say no unless you're Sergio Perez, who forgot to realise that Bortoletto wasn't there?
Yeah.
And pulled into his grid slot.
Well, it's not that. So, let's go. I'll go back to quickly go to the grid walk.
I never saw that, so
obviously Martin got snubbed by the Kardashians. But Martin was going to the grid. I didn't have it on too loud, the volume. But I heard Martin turn around to somebody and say, "Don't push me, mate. I'm almost famous."
Right.
I believe somebody would try to push past him. If you know what I mean. They were doing something to him and it rattled him. Apparently. Because it's now become another meme of, it's become another meme like, what was that other one?
Was the, what was she, was that woman one who just totally blanked me, so saying, you're here on our.
It was on oh my God, what was it? It was the whole, you can't do this. Oh, it was quarter, wasn't it? It was at quarter. And the security guard goes, you can't do that. And Martin turned around and said, I can, because I did. Sort of thing. It was at quarter, and it felt like another one of them, like, meme-worthy moments.
Yeah.
I don't get why you said, I'm almost famous. It's like, Martin, you are fucking famous.
Yeah, I think he's always liked to play it down a little bit, hasn't he?
Yeah. You know what I mean? You are famous.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're an ex-racing driver, but you're kind of one of the voices of F1. You know, you're always...
And has been for a lot of years at
That's
this
what
point.
I mean. And obviously he's got an OBE?
MBE, wasn't it, he got?
Was it an MBE? There's something
Yeah.
anyways. So... And then, did you watch Formation Lap?
I did, yeah. I saw the formation. I was saying, you saw back into...
You know, you saw
Max was complaining about engine issues then, wasn't he?
Yeah, you saw that car not looking good, and you're thinking, uh-oh, what's going to happen here? Are they going to be able to fix it? Or, well, as we go to the 5 lights, and the car goes into anti-stall, it's like, oh, who's going to hit him?
Fair play to the 20 cars behind him, or 19 cars behind him. You see that managed to not run straight up the back of him.
That's what I mean. Who's going to pick up myself? Oh, who's going to hit him here? Shit.
Some of the onboards from the cars further back are terrifying.
Gasly being one of them. And, you know, he kicked off a little bit, like, but you knew it was bad when the fact that Bortoletto had managed to take off from him.
Yeah, Bortoletto took off him, yeah. Let's say, and then we sort of settled in, and I don't know, maybe from that point I was kind of worried it was just going to be the usual Monaco procession.
When... Oh no, that was later on, sorry. That was later on. Yeah, he didn't... You know, you thought, oh, well, here we go. Usual boring Monaco.
Yeah.
Then you had Bottas retiring on lap 15 because of overheating and brake issues.
Yeah, a few cars seem to be suffering the brake issues, didn't they? There seems to be the heat. I think it's the heat combined with the lower speeds.
Yeah.
Because the cars aren't getting the airflow through them at the rate. You know, when a car's obviously steaming around the track at 200 miles an hour, the air's going through the systems a lot faster. Which will get the heat out a lot faster at Monaco speeds, and with the way Monaco is so enclosed, the heat can't dissipate. You imagine, you know what it's like yourself, sit in a small room with a PC on. How quickly does the heat build?
Well, yeah.
That's what the Monaco track's like.
Now, do I bring this up now or do I wait? What do you think of all this pit lane speeding incidents?
Well, the only thing I know about it is I heard Bernie's explanation. Which, in the lapse of anything else, I have to take as... And it was apparently... Do you know of it? Do you know?
What?
Did you hear what Bernie's sort of explanation for it was, or...?
No.
She basically explained it as, with the way the Monaco pit entrance is, if you looked at the line they measure the pit entrance from, it doesn't actually run straight with the entrance to the pit lane. Because the pit lane is on such a tight corner.
Well, yeah.
And how she explained it was, the cars weren't technically speeding in the pit lane, but what was happening is because of the angle they were coming in at, they were completing the pit lane too fast.
Right.
Basically, the way she said it, the way F1 do it, there isn't a man with a speed gun at the end of the pit lane.
No, it's like a sensor.
Every car is timed through the pit lane. They remove the time the car was stationary, and that gives them the speed in the pit lane.
Right.
Now, because these cars were cutting the inside of the corner and technically making the pit lane shorter, they were basically recording too fast a time.
Huh.
That's how I understand it. I mean, feel free anybody to correct me if I've missed something there, but from what I can see and from what I've read, that's what the problem was. Because it was funny, wasn't it? Because
Yeah.
one speeding in the pit lane happens maybe about once a year.
Yeah.
But to have so many in one race, I was looking at thinking, like, this many drivers are not speeding in the pit lane. This doesn't happen. Something else is going on here. Before we had any announcement, I was like, there's got to be something else playing a part here.
Well, Alpine have asked for a right to review.
Yeah, I don't know if there's been any result on that yet. I don't think so, because I'm not seeing anything on the official Formula One site, which is where I use for most of my data, just so everybody knows, because I find it the most legitimate source.
Well, I saw it on the Alpine Facebook page that the official team page that they've requested a right to review.
Yeah, well, as I said, there's been no conclusion to that yet.
Because it wasn't just one Alpine that got busted.
Both of them.
It was both of them. And then...
I mean, it's one of those, isn't it? Because it sounds like it basically was... I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. I want to say a clerical error, but that's not quite the right wording.
A malfunctioning sensor?
Well, it's not even the sensor malfunctioning.
Well, some of them was wrong.
If the problem apparently was to do with the fact that literally was because that... If you can imagine, if that pit lane speed limiter line isn't level with the end of the pit lane, but is at an angle. Now, if you assume that sensor's in the middle of that line, if you cut in on the very left-hand side, the very right-hand side in this case, which is the inside, you are going to cover a shorter distance than somebody who goes in on the very right-hand side.
Yeah, but the thing was...
Let's also add at this point as a note that Monaco has a lower pit speed limit than every other circuit.
But they were... Some of it was behind a safety car. This is the thing. A couple of the penalties was behind a safety car that was having to go through a pit lane.
I mean, to give you, and this is kind of why maybe of the 6 pit lane speeding infringements handed out on Sunday, 5 were for exceeding the limit by 0.1 kilometers per hour. The other was 0.4.
Christ.
Now, part of me thinks, do you just throw them out? Say it's maybe a sensor error. But the trouble is, if you start throwing them out, teams are going to then push that 0.1 as much as they can. And then you start throwing out 0.2, and you get what I'm saying? These teams, if you give them an inch, will take 20 miles.
Oh, we know that.
So unfortunately, the rule is there for a safety reason. We do not want cars hurtling down the pit lane as fast as possible into a crowd of mechanics. That is unquestionable. But there's this one, and maybe has shown that they need to look at where that line is. Maybe move that line. Maybe put that line somewhere where it can be better worked from.
Well, yeah.
Now, unfortunately, with Monaco, you can't change a lot.
No. Not really.
And that's just the nature of that circuit. I mean, I don't know, because, like I say, without looking, I don't think there's a lot you can change at all.
Not really, no.
But this also then throws up something which I would have loved to have discussed with you about the Canadian Grand Prix. And I think I said to you in a other video recorded, because it led to a situation where a couple of cars served penalties under safety car.
Yeah.
And I still, to this day, always thought that was not allowed.
Unless you're George Russell.
Well, at this Grand Prix at Monaco, he then copped a second penalty for not serving a penalty, didn't he?
Well, there was confusion.
Yeah.
There was confusion over it.
I always thought you weren't allowed to serve penalties behind like safety cars or VSCs. Now, I could be wrong. I haven't read the rule book in detail. I don't think you should be allowed to serve them when the race is slowed down, because I think that reduces the severity of the penalty. But as we say, Russell, by the team not serving the penalty, then copped a heavier penalty for not serving it. So
well,
there was maybe...
Yeah, because they actually touched the car.
Mm.
They touched the car and they shouldn't have done. Quite funny, though. I've opened the regulations, the sporting regulations here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking, it saved it under because we looked under the safety car stuff last time.
Mm.
And I was just trying to see if there was any, quickly flicking through just to see if...
It may be on safety. I may also have to look under like penalties to see if it's written in that section.
Yeah.
This is where he's read the sporting regs. I haven't, folks. I have a life.
That's what I'm trying to look for. Because it, see, no, because that's a resumption. I just wanted to see if there was anything to do with that resumption, but there wasn't.
I'm not sure. We'd have to look up. But so Russell copped the second penalty. We should also mention poor Sergio Perez. We've already mentioned how he went to the wrong grid box.
Yep.
During the first start. Now we should. I didn't realise there was cheap tarmac layers in Monaco, but clearly there isn't. One of them worked on the final corner.
I'm guessing so.
Because first of all, Stroll, who was keen to blame a brake problem. Whereas I personally would have taken the track was breaking up and saved the team the embarrassment of saying the car was knackered.
Yeah, but you got to think, somebody else did the same thing.
But then the poor local, and I feel so bad for Charles. His home race, he's a rarity in F1. As much as so much of the F1 family lives in Monaco, he's actually a born and bred Monegas.
Hmm.
You know, he's had the joy of winning this race, but to crash out in front of your home crowd must be a double blow. That of course, triggered a red flag.
Yeah.
Now, there was a very interesting conversation going on, which I'm not sure how it sorted itself out, because was it Lindblad hadn't pitted by the time
Lindblad
the red flag came
pitted.
out. Now, there was a conversation going on between Bernie and Crofty how, because under a red flag, they're allowed to fix the car, change tyres. However, in my book, he would not have served a pit stop.
No.
So to me,
if they just suspended the race, if they'd have said, right, the race isn't resuming, he would have been DQ'd.
But what I'm saying is, him changing tyres under the red flag counted as a tyre change in a pit stop, did it?
Yeah.
Because I'm looking here, I'm looking at the list of pit stops. His name isn't here.
No. Yeah, because they're allowed to do that under the red flag. That's how he got around the compound change.
Yeah, you run a second compound to the one you. I'm guessing yes. Now I think about it. Now, the wording of the rule, as I understand it, is you must run 2 compounds during the race.
Yeah.
The rule doesn't say you must pit.
Yeah, you have to. You have
run
to
2 compounds, and you are not allowed to
compounds.
put 2 different compounds on the car at the same time.
Yeah, and
You can't shove softs on the front and mediums on the rear.
well, he wouldn't have been.
Although teams have tried that before, they usually accidentally.
He wouldn't have been able to go, say, hard, because then that would not have complied with the rules.
Wasn't it last year where was it Russell actually didn't pit and just took the penalty? Because the penalty was only something silly like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And it actually really worked out that cost them less. Because Monaco's probably the only race where, in theory, the cars can do the entire race on one set of tyres.
Yeah.
Because of the speed, because of the circuit.
No, last year was the 2 mandatory rule, though.
Was it the year before then? It might have been the year before, sorry. I'm sure it was the year before where... Give me a second. This website allows me to check.
Unless it was last year, but I know it was the mandatory 2 rule.
Did he only pit once then or something and skip the second one? I seem to remember because he spent most of the race tucked up behind another car, didn't he?
Yeah. So
Taxi doesn't say anything on here, so maybe I could be wrong. I seem to remember it being a contentious issue.
So the obviously Sporting Reg Section B.
Let me go up to 2026 before I say something silly.
Sporting Regs B6 3.6. Basically, they're on about, while we're on about the tyres, they've got to use, unless they've used intermediate or wet during a race, each driver must use at least 2 different specifications. Well, 2, 1, whatever. 2 different specifications of dry tyres during the race, at least 1 of which must be mandatory dry weather race tyre specification. That's Article B612, whatever. Unless the race is suspended and cannot be restarted, failure to comply with these requirements will result in a disqualification of the relevant driver from the race results.
Right, so what you're saying there, that's actually a little bit contradicts.
And it used to be, before it got crossed out, for all races, except the race in Monaco. It used to be in there.
I was going to say, because what you said there was if the race got suspended, then you wouldn't get a penalty if you hadn't. I'm guessing that's just to protect. That's just to protect them to disqualify half the field because it ended on like lap 10 and nobody had pitted.
Yeah. If the race is suspended and cannot be restarted, then it says 30 seconds will be added to the elapsed time of any driver who did not. In other words, so Lindblad would have either been DSQ'd or 30 seconds.
Which is meant to be more than a pit stop takes in order to sort of make teams have the pit stop. It'll cost you less.
Yeah. So initially they'll go for the DSQ. But it used to say within the sporting regs that rule didn't count except the race in Monaco. So, which was rather weird that Monaco was ruled out of their own sporting regs. But then maybe when they realised, well, they tried the 2 allocations. It's, that's rather strange to see that that was done that way. I'm trying to see, unless this is in the separate. I'm trying to find the bloody penalty section here. Still. But it's... Yeah, no. Tarmac issues.
Tarmac issues.
What?
I mean, it's not the first time we've had stuff like this happen.
No. But what took them... I wonder why they didn't red flag after Stroll's incident. If drivers had been reporting that...
Trouble is, had drivers sort of been reporting it, because if we say Stroll was keen to blame a brake failure...
Well, some people had been saying it over the radio when they played it back later on. Some people had said about it. It's not in that one. Could be in this one. No, these are the tech regs.
I mean, I do kind of agree with what Martin Brundle said about it, which is as long as it's not too big, drivers drive around puddles and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, obviously they swept all the loose bits away, which is what they did. They did the correct thing, stop the race, go and assess it. That was the correct thing to do.
Well, they were having an interesting conversation, like, weren't they?
But as I say, it's... To me, the right thing was done. They continued the race. I'm assuming the drivers were warned. There's this hole there, you know, try not to hit it.
Yeah.
To me, that's the same as saying, well, there's a barrier there, try not to hit it. It just becomes something... I did laugh at Crofty's comment, though, that you can't just put cones and traffic lights around it and get on with things.
Well, yeah, you couldn't just stick a corn on it.
Yeah.
I mean, I do feel sorry for Lando. I know we are skipping around a bit, but I do feel sorry for Lando.
I feel really sorry for Carlos. As I said before, had a history of calling points in every Monaco race.
I'll tell you what.
Although I don't know why that shot of him coming nose to nose with a medical car didn't half make me laugh.
I was about to bring that up. Whoever was driving the medical car, holy shit, they must have shite themselves.
Yeah, come round the corner, there's Carlos facing them. Well, one of us is wrong.
Yeah. It was just a case of like...
I mean, the car it was further up the hill, wasn't it? And then the car got a second impact.
Was it Hulk and then Colapinto?
I think it was Colapinto, yeah, gave him a second tap going just into the tunnel that spun him round.
Yeah, because Hulkenberg got a...
Hulkenberg got a penalty for it, for the collision.
Yeah, 10 second.
And then the AMG Estate medical car comes around the corner and finds him facing him.
I'm surprised he could get that car even in that little runoff area there.
There's actually a pretty decent runoff, is that one. Because the road continues that way, so they can actually set it back quite a way. Well, I will also say, I mean, we say a lot about respect to Bernd Mailander. Monaco must be one of the most difficult races to drive the safety car at. Because know that safety car is on the edge. That safety car, you're driving it hard because it's a 2-ton road car.
Yeah.
But at Monaco, you have zero margin for error.
Nope.
The slightest thing wrong, and you're dragging that very nice, very expensive-looking Mercedes down a barrier and looking like quite an idiot.
Or in the tunnel, especially in the wet.
Yeah. So, you know, it's got to be one of the most difficult circuits for the safety car for Bernd Mailander to manage.
Well, yeah. And to be called on more than once.
In very quick success. It's the old touring car joke, isn't it, that safety cars breed safety cars? I mean, I'm looking through my list here of, like, DNFs. I mean, Ollie Behrman, we haven't mentioned him. I actually don't fully know what happened to him. Judging by the silence, I'm guessing that you're not too confident about it either.
No.
I mean, where's the old 6 winners and losers? That's normally a good place to look.
I've now got the lap by lap.
I haven't got that to me now.
You usually can get a lap by lap, normally.
He's not actually mentioned in this list, so... That's helpful. Thank you, F1 site. Never change.
He didn't. Did he just have a problem?
I don't think he binned it.
No, that's what I mean. Did he have a car problem? Then had to retire. Can I get the lap bar? I can't. I don't think I can get the lap by lap up either. Oh yeah, I can. What lap did he say he got to? 47, was it?
27.
27.
27.
Yeah, I don't get what the hell was up with Leclerc. Because when he, as well, when he went to the media pen and he said, I don't have many words, I look like an idiot.
Did he blame himself? He at first was saying that he hadn't got the tires, the brakes up to temperature.
But then obviously, I mean, Hadjar was very lucky.
Yeah, he was complaining about the car most of the race and yet managed to...
Well, not just
through
that.
a lot of people's misfortune.
Not just that, though. It's the fact that he got away with a fucking safety car infringement.
Well, Russell technically got away with a pit lane infringement, didn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen an outside shot, but from the onboard, he looked very, very close to that white line.
Oh, yeah.
I think in the midst of all the shit that was going on, they just let that one slide, thinking we have bigger fish to fry here.
Yeah. Because, I mean, it was a bit chaotic.
A bit, very chaotic. And then we settled down to that. I was actually kind of, obviously we got a red flag for Leclerc's incident to fix the track. And then we got a standing restart again, which I must admit, I was kind of hoping for a rolling one, just because I didn't want to see Antonelli lose out to Hamilton, but luckily he managed to hold it.
I mean, that's the thing, to go up against the Ferrari, and we knew the Ferrari, how they launched.
And we know Antonelli to the beginning of this season didn't have the best starts. But when he needed it, it was there.
Tell me about it. Even a lap, that's the problem. The lap by lap thing's letting me down right here, right now. When I need it.
Yeah, I don't see if I've got anything on here that's going to give me any information, but... Huh. Oh no, that's always shit off the track, isn't it? Sorry, folks, we should do this research before.
Well, according to this, they got damage. He got damage on... yeah. Behrman returned to the circuit with repairs made, but soon the team discovered the damage was more extensive than initially thought, and after attempting to continue, Haas eventually retired the car on lap 27.
Yes, there was obviously a collision earlier on.
So that was him.
And then we sort of settled into the end of the race in the last few laps, where I say once again, an amazing result for Kimi. I don't know what to say because I'm kind of worryingly close to saying things that I know don't want to be heard of, like it's getting boring, same winner, because the lad is earning it.
I'm sorry, but he's
earning that.
He's earning that.
It's not like he's been handed so much. It's not like the car's a million leagues faster. He's out there giving it all, and it's working.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think Russell is flustered by it by now. I think Russell is seriously knocked by it.
I think Russell expected to have it easy against him. Not going to lie.
Well, I've said to you, as I said to you before, I think Russell thought this was his year.
Yeah, which unfortunately
He's finally got rid of Hamilton, and it's going to be his team, his way.
Yeah.
You know, linen shirts and lawnmowers for everyone.
I mean, apart from Norris's battery issue again, because he had the battery issue in Canada, didn't he?
Mm.
Obviously, Stroll got a 5-second penalty for exceeding track limits. After all the kerfuffle, Perez was on...
Now, Stroll won't have to serve any kind of... Because obviously he DNF, so he won't have to serve any kind of penalty at the next race, will he? I don't think.
Don't think so. Unless the stewards want to be, Now,
obviously, Sergio Perez was so close to getting Cadillac's first point, and then the various penalties caught up with him.
Which then handed it to Alonso. Now, Aston Martin's not been horrible. It's a bit of a shitbox this year so far.
What did they say about even the stop clocks right twice a day?
Yeah. But throughout whatever the hell, all this carnage and everything, Alonso manages to secure a point.
It's often these mad random races where stuff like that can happen, though. What's the old saying? You got to be in it to win it?
Pretty much.
And if you can keep your head while all around you are losing theirs, you must be at least a foot shorter than them.
What the hell was up with Albon? That's another thing. What was up with Albon? He was proper being diva.
I think it's just team frustrations at the moment, isn't he? I think this is kind of brewing for the last couple of years. Albon, I don't think he's fully happy at Williams, but I think he knows there's not many other avenues open right now, shall we say?
Because, they're on about swapping him and Sainz around, which ultimately screwed Sainz out of the points at this point.
Yeah.
And, to top it off, later on, Sainz gets bitched.
Yeah.
But, I mean, fair play to... It's coming out of my mouth. Lawson and Lindblad. Obviously, fair play to Piastri. The only surviving McLaren. And obviously, fair play to Hadjar for being the only surviving Red Bull.
Only surviving Red Bull, and say Fulton managed to keep that podium. And you even got to give credit to Lewis he looked comfortable in second all day.
Oh yeah, he did.
The only one who could get even somewhere near to Antonelli, even if Antonelli did pretty much keep him at arm's length for the entire race.
Well, what was Antonelli's gap at one point?
He was up 20.
Was
he was well up there.
2 pit stops.
They didn't know he had 2 pit stops over like fourth. He didn't have that over second.
But he had a hell of a gap over second at one point.
But it was one of those where if we hadn't have had the safety cars and the red flag, they'd lapped up to about third place or something.
They lapped Russell, didn't they?
They lapped up to about third. They'd lapped literally up to like pretty much the podium.
Yeah.
That was the other thing. I generally, when they did the safety car, I'm like, oh shit, we have to do the freaking thinking people unlap themselves thing, are we?
Well, they did.
Yeah.
But did you notice how quick they dropped the safety car after them lot had passed? They weren't even giving the snake the chance to catch up.
Yeah, but you couldn't, because it would have been another bloody 3 or 4 laps.
That's what I mean.
Which might have saved Leclerc in a roundabout funny way, but you've been talking another 2 laps minimum for them to get round and get back on the queue.
Mm.
And I always think that kind of, because the whole object of the safety car is that you control the pace and put them where you're predictable.
Yeah.
When you do the release tries, you've suddenly got a few handful of cars doing full speed round to catch the back of the queue again. Now that defeats the object of the safety car.
Yeah.
I agree with mine. We should be able to just either let them drop back, or just go to when we did before. We just leave them where they are, and you've got to work around them.
Yeah. But I mean, Antonelli had a hell of a gap on second.
Everybody.
It's
He had it in control.
Yeah.
Even with the safety cars and the red flag, he's managed to keep it under his control. He never seemed out.
And I'm hoping Barca kind of comes good for him, to be honest.
Well, I think if things don't change in the next couple of races, I think he's going to build a lead that I'm not going to say is insurmountable, but it's going to get very, very difficult.
Well, he's already on 156.
Yeah.
Hamilton's 90 points. Russell's only on 88. Leclerc's like 75.
So he's already got a reasonable gap.
Yeah, pretty much.
66 points, which is not far off 3 race wins. He can afford to literally DNF twice and still be in the lead of the championship.
Yeah.
And that's just over Hamilton.
Yep, exactly.
So, it's a hell of a position to be in because it literally just, I'm not going to say it takes pressure off you because that's the wrong term, but it certainly makes you less worried.
Mercedes is 244 in the constructors. Ferrari's 165 at this point.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm not going to start turning around and saying the championship's done because I refuse to do that.
I'm not saying that the championship's over. The championship is still, for all we know, I don't want to say it, Hamilton could get his 8th. If he keeps driving the way he is, he could get his 8th.
But I think you need some real bad luck to instill a few other drivers.
Well, this is what I mean. George isn't mathematically out of it yet. Nobody... I mean, it'd be a hell of a comeback for Max, but...
Even bigger one for Stroll.
Pretty much. The only people that haven't scored yet is Hülkenberg, Bottas, Perez, and Stroll.
I'm not going to lie, Hülkenberg surprised. The rest of them I could I could see.
The Aston Martins, I can see, but...
The Hülkenberg one, I think... The Astons and the Cadillacs, yeah, that tracks. Hülkenberg's had some shit luck.
Pretty much.
Because I think he's been bought a letter, okay, it's only 2 points, but it's 2 points.
Yeah. I mean, we've got to also remember, though, we are on round 7. We have missed... Well, we will be on round 7 next. We have had 2 missed races of this season.
Yep.
So that's... What is it? Is it 26 points for the win?
25, isn't it? It used to be 25 for a win and 1 for fastest lap.
Oh, yeah, 25.
Doesn't apply anymore.
So there's
50 points
50 points gone.
Minimum. There's maximum 50 points that have just been taken out of the play.
Yeah. I mean, given the way Merck have started, I'm hoping this form, to be honest, I hope this form does continue and doesn't really bite them in the ass. But unfortunately, I can't see that happening because it's Formula One.
The thing is, I've always had the attitude that I never wish for a team to be slowed down.
No.
It's for the other guys to catch up.
Yeah.
End of the day, you're all playing with the same rule book, and we have to assume you're doing it legally if we have no evidence that you're not.
But look at Ferrari and the smaller turbos.
Yeah, but that's not against the rules.
No, I know. I'm not saying that. But look at how it's helped them to get to the positions that they're in at the moment.
But, the point I'm sort of raising with this is that, yeah, right now it looks like a Mert whitewash. But like I say, I wouldn't stand here. I wouldn't stand here and say, well, that means Merck needs slowing down, because to me, that's the wrong way of looking at it. Let's say every other team is playing with the same rulebook. Figure out what they're doing and get there.
Yeah. Now,
because that's clearly what's available.
Now, can we see trouble heading Red Bull's way?
In what sense?
They both, well, one engine, we don't know what the cause is for Max. Hajar's engine wasn't particularly firing on all cylinders. So can we possibly see penalties, engine penalties heading towards Red Bull at some point?
I'm not going to lie, the last thing I expected was the Ford engines to have wet belt issues, but here we are.
Because, like we say, Hajar wasn't running on full.
Hajar's engine didn't fail now.
No, but Max's did. Kind of.
Did it? Because it didn't like blow up in a cloud of smoke and
No, but it chucked it into like anti-stall limp home.
Yeah, but could that have been a gearbox clutch issue, something like that? I don't fully know what caused the problem.
Well, we don't yet. We won't, because that'll go back. That's going to go back to Milton Keynes. So, I mean, we'll see.
I mean, you could be right. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Like I say, because the engine didn't expel a lot of sparks and magic smoke and make silly noises. So now this is where I once again, them engines once they're built are like sealed, aren't they?
Yep.
You can't rip them apart and start changing components inside them.
No. That's why they always, if they have engine power unit problems, then they have to
put in a whole new. You can't rip it out and like change the pistons in it or something like that. If they're the problem,
they have to literally put a new engine in, or it gets gets sent back to the factory and to be looked at.
Yeah. So for all we know, that engine could actually still be all right. It could have been something else in the system that failed.
Yeah, possibly. But that's just me speculating. Is you think they're going to see penalties at some point? Because McLaren could possibly be in the same boat.
To be honestly, I think what might save them is the 2 less races.
True.
Because if they've built their reliability model around the full calendar,
yeah, true, and then
you've only lost
2 got quashed,
and you've only lost like nearly 600 miles.
Yeah.
From that. Oh, 600 kilometers, sorry, because I'm pretty sure they raised to kilometers. But whichever one it is, basically what I'm trying to say is when these engines were being built and designed, they had a distance in mind, and that distance has changed.
Yeah.
Lesson, so that might just help 1 or 2 teams who are maybe thinking this is going to be tight.
Yeah.
I could also be absolutely wrong, but if you're planning to cook a meal for 10 people and only 8 show up,
yeah,
you've got more ingredients.
What were you going to say?
I have completely slipped track now. I don't think it was anything coming. I mean, I'm trying to delay us getting onto the fantasy leagues. I really don't want to look at it.
I do.
I don't.
I wouldn't know.
Because for the second year running, I decide to play a big card here, and the world bites me in the arse for it.
Because I want to know what's gone on with mine.
I literally, this isn't quite as catastrophic as the Kimi Antonelli harpooning Max at Austria last year.
Yeah.
But this was a pretty major. I made a play here, which then basically blew up in smoke in my face. But we shall find that out. Have you got any more thoughts on the race on the weekend, on anything like that?
It was a better race than normal, put it that way.
Better than we expected.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, but is that because the racing was better or just because shit hit the fan?
Just because shit hit the fan.
Which isn't a great way to look at it, really. We can't say, yes, we want every race to be a clusterfuck.
No, but
And then it'll be great.
But for Monaco,
Yeah.
it certainly spiced things and made things a little bit more entertaining. But I did wonder when the red flag come out, I was thinking, oh, if they're going to chuck this now, they're going to just chuck the race and not resume.
No, I honestly always thought, because it's a bit like, it was in quali, wasn't it, when Brundle was talking about it, it's like, there was 10 laps to go. You're always going to try and start again with 10.
Yeah.
They were far enough that full race points would have been allocated, because that's 75%, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it 2/3?
75% of race distance.
Then full point. We don't with the silly half-point situation that we had a few years ago.
Spa.
There was one, was it Malaysia a good few years ago as well, where it happened?
Yeah, but Spa was.
But yeah, Spa, but we were past that. But I always think that they're always going to try and resume the race unless it really isn't possible. Unless it's, if they were going to have to resurface that bit of road, then they weren't going to resume the race. Because you're talking a day job for it to be resurfaced and set.
Yeah.
But they got it going, they got it finished. Obviously, the things to look at for next year, the pit lane thing, I think they've uncovered an issue with the system that needs looking at. What the fix is there, I do not know. I am not on that kind of work length, but clearly something wasn't right.
No.
I say, how often do cars get pit lane speed limit infractions now? Would you say it was one a season, usually?
I'd say 2, at least 2.
It's not a lot more than that, though, is it?
No.
So when, the third one, that race popped up, I was there thinking something else is going on here.
I thought before they even said it, I thought, oh, is that a sensor issue somewhere? Something malfunctioned or something, because...
Yeah.
And then when the next one, it was like, something's not right there.
Yeah, it was sort of obvious that something had gone awry.
Yeah. And then obviously what they do need to do is perhaps they need to... The Principality of Monaco, I know it's a live streets, I know it's live roads, like Baku and stuff, and like Vegas, but I think they need to make sure that the track surface is perhaps in a little bit of a better condition.
It's ironic you mentioned Vegas. You remember their first year?
Oh, you mean the drain cover where Carlos Sainz
manhole covers lifting and...
Yeah.
It's not...
But they were ground effect cars.
Yeah. I would think Monaco has always actually been pretty good. This has been a one-off.
I bet it's been a one-off that's caused some interesting
because
results.
Because they're local boy to crash. That's going to be the worst part, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Some poor Monegasque tarmac is going to be the most hated man in the Principality.
Yeah. But I don't know. I just again, I think my other takeaway is certain celebs on the grid, and if you've got no interest in the sport,
you're a guest of F1.
Yeah.
Remember that.
Yeah, pretty much.
No arguments from me on that one.
I know we're going to say this constantly, but we're probably going to say it more than once this season. But yeah, it's a pretty shit thing.
Oh yeah.
To be, well, it's kind of shit of us to say, but it's just look, we're not if you're not interested in the sport, you've been invited down, but be respectful to, if you don't if you don't want media on you,
don't be on the grid.
Yeah, if you don't go on the grid or put a request in saying you don't want the media attention.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's quite simple. Because they were, they did snub, Brundle and probably others, but it's, not mine's fault, but he's only doing what somebody in his ears telling him to do, but...
No, but like I say, you're a guest of Formula One. You're on their grid. It'd be like one of us going to somebody's film and then just talking all the way through it.
Hmm.
You know, it's not right.
No. No, it's, you know, you've got to give respect a little bit. You know, you've been invited or whatever.
Yeah.
So just show it, sort of thing. That didn't work. Okay. Okay. It have to be that button. But it's not doing what I wanted it to do. Now it is. There we go. So I'm going to move it on to the part that David doesn't want to look at. I'm interested. So shall we do it? I think we should. Oh, yeah, that's... Oh. You got bitch for additional transfers.
One, yeah, because I did quite a few changes after Canada.
Ah.
Which I knew that was coming. I knew that was...
Oh, you put... Oh. You put your 3 times on Leclerc, did you?
Leclerc, home Grand Prix. I could just see maybe not a win, but I could just see a good, strong performance coming.
Yeah.
But of course, in the way this works, which is the rules, I'm not disagreeing with them. Triples anything.
Yeah.
So it tripled the negative.
And you had Bottas as well.
And I had Cadillac.
You had Caddy, which minus 13. Yike.
So yeah, I mean, trust me, I still only scored 8 less points than Alan, though, who
I know.
also burnt one of his big chips.
Oh, he played his no negative.
Yeah.
Oh, Sainz only scored him a point.
You mean, in fair, he got lucky that Russell, in a way.
Yeah.
Russell should have scored him negative.
Yeah.
Or should have scored him 0, but because of the no negative
and
the 2 times,
yeah,
he turned a 0 into 12.
Yep. And then obviously I'm in third with the no negative, but my 2 times on Antonelli.
Which so was mine, I hasten to point out, which is where actually more of my points came from than I finished with.
Yeah.
Alas.
And then, because Russell only scored me 6.
Well, you had no negatives, obviously.
Yeah. Then Behrman was 1 point, whereas anybody else got Behrman?
Doesn't look like it.
Am I the only one with... Am I the only one with Behrman?
Looks like you are, yes. You are the only one with a Haas full stop, aren't you?
By the looks of it, yeah.
You're the asshole.
Pretty much. I might have to make a change. Let's see what I can do. And then Gasly obviously scoring me 12. Am I the only one with an Alpine?
No, I can see.
No, you have.
Yeah, Daniel's got Colapinto.
Oh, is it Alan that's got it?
Yeah,
Alan's got it.
Alan's got Colapinto. I think you're the only one with a Gasly.
Yeah, I am. Oh, well. And then Bortoletto, which I think there's me and Simon are the only ones with Bortoletto. Yeah.
Now, what I'm struggling to work out here is this final fix on Daniels. Because it's showing Charles Leclerc as having been replaced. So does that mean the points from Leclerc do not count?
Well, if you look, Kimi only scored him 90 points.
90 points.
Where Kimmy had scored anybody else that had him, like me and you,
110.
110.
Yeah, 110, that's doubled. He scored 55. A lot of us had him doubled.
Yeah.
So why does he only score 90 for him?
Why? I
don't get that.
Why did it score him 90? I'm confused at that as well.
Yeah, there's nothing. What is the final fix? Give me a second. Let me just have a look.
Yeah,
can be used after the qualifying race. I can't look at it. So, I can't remember what that one's for. I'm not going to play it next race just to find out either.
The final fix chip in F1 Fantasy allows you to make exactly one driver swap between the end of qualifying and the start of the Grand Prix without taking a points penalty. That's what it allows you to do.
Well, that still doesn't explain why he only scored 90.
Did he... Yeah, did he... Did he do something that...
Well, it says there's no penalty, so it can't be anything to do with anything like that. I'm not sure. We're good. That may turn out to be a mathematical error that fixes itself for all we know.
It's one last attempt to tweak their lineups, isn't it? So final fix. Can be used after the qualifying. Did... Because I'm not seeing him... I'm not seeing anything saying that he'd replace... Oh, no, yeah, he had to replace Leclerc.
It says at the bottom, Leclerc's listed but replaced and greyed out. So I'm assuming Leclerc's points.
Doesn't make sense. Because if you took Leclerc's points away from Kimi...
That would defeat what the final fix is about.
No, what I'm saying, if you took Leclerc's points... Because if you had... Because if you do it to the 110...
Yeah.
Kimi would end up with 96 points.
Yeah.
So... Yeah, it doesn't... And there's nothing here that...
That's something we're going to have to look into. Like I say, I think we'll...
Yeah, unsure about that one.
If anyone in the comments knows, please drop in and let us know.
And then obviously Simon in first on 177.
So even the gap between first and last wasn't that big this race.
No.
Yeah, we're talking 76 points between me and Simon, so it's not like I've lost a lot of ground, but it's still ground I didn't want to lose.
But overall, I'm still at the bottom. Overall, I'm still at the bottom with 725. Alan's in fourth with 760. You're in third with 1,074. Simon's in second with 1,184. And Daniel is still in first with 1,358.
Yeah.
Now, he got a good jump start of the season, but he can't have that many chips left to play.
Yeah, you would think not.
Well, to me, I wouldn't have played my ultimate chip. I wouldn't have played that so early. I know that he did.
I mean, I played my no negative right back at Australia, which I still actually stand by.
Yeah, the problem was I was always saving my no negative for Monaco. Because
Yeah.
usually you know how much of a shit show Monaco can be.
Like I say, I used Monaco to do my 3 times, thinking Leclerc would give us a stellar performance at home and probably grab a second or something daft.
And
he found a wall.
Yeah. The problem is this season is very difficult to even manage who you want to even put on teams.
Yeah.
So, it's like I'm just at the moment I'm just taking the hit because
Yeah.
I'm not seeing any outstanding drivers to be able to even bring into the team.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I've done a couple of, because I at one point had quite a bit of free money, but it wasn't enough to make any big changes.
Yeah. Because, well, the likes of, trying to get, Max is quite expensive. There's no
right
point.
now I've got Antonelli.
Yeah, I know. But there's no point me.
The only ones I would potentially change are like Bottas and possibly Hadjar. But if I take both of those out, I can't put 2 drivers that I think are really more suitable in.
Yeah.
I would have said Hulkenberg, but Bottas actually seems to be, he's not performing. You look at who's at that kind of money, there's a gap of nearly 3 million from Bottas to next, which is Alonso.
Yeah. And Aston Martin right now are pretty dog.
Now, if I take those 2 out, which I'm just doing in front of me now just for...
Yeah.
But bear in mind, I need to replace them with 2. I can't run a driver down.
No.
The first driver that really jumps out at me is like a place of maybe Hadjar. I put him in.
But have you got enough to then put another driver in? That's the
Just
thing.
Hulkenberg.
Yeah.
Actually, I can... Oh, no, it's Hadjar I took out.
I don't know.
Hadjar I took out and you got him. When you got Lindblad, which I've already got, you got Albon.
Yeah, which...
There's not a lot of options down there.
No. And there's not a lot of performance.
Unless you're willing to give up one of your big guys to maybe try and pick up 2 better. We need to do at least 2, maybe 3. But you could drop a big guy to maybe try and grab a smaller one.
Yeah.
But are you sacrificing...
Yeah. It's...
that one performance.
It's quite difficult this year. It's not been easy and clear cut to say, oh yeah, well, I'll have him, I'll have them, sort of thing, because they've not been performing well. So, I mean, half of it's not their fault either. I'd happily have Alonso, but I'd be sacrificing all the time because the Aston Martin shit. I'd have the likes of Hulkenberg, but
his performance so far isn't.
he's not performing.
Yeah.
It is, but it's one of them difficult ones.
Oh, yeah.
Really
Which
is.
actually, to me, is a good thing. I actually said a couple of years ago that I thought the Fantasy League was a little too easy. It was a little too easy to get
Not this
a
year.
really good team. No, but I actually don't mind that because that's where a bit more strategy can come. Like we're sat here discussing now, the strategy can come into play.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add?
Do you want to do overall results as well?
I did the overall results before.
I thought you just did the race.
No. For what? No, I did the overall as well.
I zoned out. My bad. Christ.
No, I did the overall.
No, I have nothing else to add. Just as you say, an interest in Monaco. Not necessarily for good reasons, but an interest in Monaco. And we're on to a very different circuit this weekend coming with Barcelona.
Well, yeah, we are. Because it's more of a speed. It's more high speed, isn't it? Barca. Sort of. Would you say?
Very high. Well, it's a circuit that always used to be the known testing circuit, didn't it?
Yeah.
It's a track the teams know. They always said it's a track that had a good balance. Why it was always the choice for testing.
Yeah.
But it's a great circuit. It's one that's always just given some good racing over the years. I mean, we're in a season of a very close Mercedes battle, which is going to make Mercedes fans nervous going into
pretty much
this weekend. But I don't think we'd have a return of that incident. I don't think so, anyway.
No, hopefully not. So, times for Barcelona, obviously 12th to the 14th of June, all UK times. Practice 1 is on the 12th at 12:30 till 1:30. Also on the 12th is practice 2 from 4 p.m. till 5 p.m. On the 13th of June, we've got practice 3 at 11:30 in the morning till 12:30. Qualifying, also on the 13th, we have from 3 till 4. And then on the 14th of June, we have the race at 2.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, as you know, podcast will be out midday on Wednesday. So all there is to say is thank you everybody for listening. Thank you to David for being here.
It's been a pleasure. And can I just... Do you want me to piss off a good chunk of the listener base?
Not really, but I expect you're going to.
Because I have seen something I should have mentioned, and it's just to wish a very happy 48th birthday to one Michael Massey. At time of recording.
Oh, well.
And that is correct. You can look that up if you don't believe me. And on that bombshell, folks, please enjoy.
Yeah. So we shall see you for the next one. So until then.
Later, folks.
Goodbye for now.